All right, Outlaw Radio Live fans, we are live on the air with the legendary DJ Slice. How you doing this evening?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Blessed, man. Glad to still be here.
Hey, man, I'm glad you're still here with us, too, and I'm glad and absolutely privileged that you actually came on my show, man. You were a legendary individual in the hip-hop industry, so thank you very much in advance for providing me with your time.
Absolutely, man. Anytime you need it, I'm glad to be here for you.
I have to ask, man, when and how did you get your start in the music industry?
Man, kind of came about with a few of my friends. I was always into music in high school and started playing the drums and then kind of graduated into started with the saxophone, actually. Played the drums and then played around with the keyboards. And then I got a job at VIP Records, which is crazy because I wasn't even thinking about the music part of it. I was just like, yeah. So went and he blessed me with a job, man, and then it went from there. That's kind of how it started. The music part of it started being, VIP. I started working with a few of my friends around the neighborhood. We all used to have our little DJ cliques. We were called the Beat Control Crew. It was me, a friend of mine named Sean Pleasant, DJ Shawnee P, DJ Shawnee Mac, PEO, who's Dwayne P, Kyrie Jabril now, and Keith Clark. And man, we just kind of went around the neighborhood, and then we got noticed by some guys at K-Day, and the rest is history. That's when it really kicked off. When we got noticed by the guys at K-Day, we kind of ran with it from there.
I have to ask, how did that iconic group get together? Like, how did you all just meet?
We all lived a block away from each other. We all met.
For the best.
We met. Yeah, we kind of just played around together. We used to ride mopeds around the neighborhood, skateboard, hide and go seek, whatever it is, just being neighborhood guys. And then we all kind of got turned on to the DJ thing at the same time, and we created a clique. We had a guy named Woody who was our neighborhood, like big brother. He kind of funded us for the equipment, with the equipment and stuff, and helped us get equipment to start DJing, and it took off. It kind of blew up for us, being some 16, 15-year-old guys, and traveling around the city DJing for people.
Hey, man, you know what? It paid off. It really did, so that was actually pretty cool.
Absolutely.
You guys all lived in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, some might not know this as well, but I also saw on your Facebook that you are a football coach at LBUSD. What made you decide to start coaching football?
Man, a friend of mine, Kirk Jones, he passed away, probably, I'm not sure how many years ago, but when he was there coaching, he asked me to come on, and just come hang out with him and help him out a little bit, on the coaching side. I played Pop Warner football. I didn't play football in high school. So I knew the game, but I wasn't really abreast of everything. But then once I started hanging out with him, he turned me on to, run an offense, how to call plays and all that good stuff. And it took off. Merle Coast Jr., which was one of our mentors, and Morco III, those two guys kind of helped me learn a lot about football. And then Raul Laura, after Kirk passed away, Raul Laura gave me a shot at being the JV head coach. And that was it.
And also, you won numerous championships with your football team, the Jackrabbits, which actually, I gotta say, that's pretty a clever name. I like that. How does it feel knowing you won those championship rings?
Oh, man, it's amazing, man. Since '97, I think we won 6 championships, and for Poly people, that's good. It's okay, but it's not what we want. We expect to be in that championship every year. It doesn't matter if it's a new coach or old coach. It doesn't matter. So that's just the expectation we have at Poly, to win championships. We have the most guys in the NFL than any school in the nation. Our graduation rate is ridiculous. We have more guys that graduate and go on to, college to play football. It's crazy. So it's just a blessing to be able to be around, that caliber athlete, and be able to teach some of them. Some of the guys that I've actually had on my JV team went on to go on to the NFL, and they still, to this day, give me props. Caden Clay, who played in the NFL on numerous teams, actually gave me some props before, and he was like, man, my favorite coach at Poly was Coach Slice. I'm like, whoa, that was honorable. And his dad is a good friend of mine who's also into music. And it just kind of, man, it keeps you going once you hear you get that kind of recognition from guys that you've coached. So that's just me, man. I just love working with the kids, understanding the kids, and really just being more of a coach, more or less, I'm trying to say not being a coach, but being more of a friend and a mentor to them, showing them that you can make it out, any way you can, but you have to be able to be a student first, an athlete second, and you got to believe in God, because God is the one that's going to put you there.
Oh yeah, man, most definitely. And I have to ask, when he gave you that shout out, was it live on like Monday Night Football or something like that?
You know what? I think it was on Facebook, which is cool with me. I mean, he just kind of shouted it out, and his dad also said it too. So it was just one of those things, man. And he made noise in the NFL for a few years.
Hey, that's not bad though. You know what I mean? It's always good when people remember their roots and where they came from, man. So salute to him.
Absolutely. Yep.
So back in December, I interviewed Mozi MD, and he was giving you tons of shout-outs and lots of praise. I want to ask, how did you and Mozi MD initially get connected?
We were in the band together in high school. He was the smallest drummer we had, but he was vicious. He was one of those guys, to me, Mozi is Prince of this day and age. Because Mo can play any instrument. He can sing, he can do everything, he writes, he does it all. So to me, he's that kind of a guy. And when we were in high school, we kind of stuck to each other because we were into music, playing the drums. He played piano. He taught me how to play certain things on the piano. I taught him stuff on the drum. And we kind of just gelled like that and been friends and almost like brothers ever since.
And he's actually a really, really great guy, man. When I interviewed him, he's such a down-to-earth, genuine individual.
Yeah.
So you also work with the legendary DJ Quik. How did you and DJ Quik get connected, and what was it like working with him?
Well, DJ Quik came by the store. I think it was was it Player Ham? I can't remember if it was Player Ham or one of his other buddies that brought him to VIP, and he was asking me about the SP 1200, and I showed him. I'm like, "Hey, man, this is what you do." He just kind of took a couple lessons from me, and then, man, once he got his hand wrapped around that thing, untouchable on SP 1200. So I just taught him how to do the basics, and he took it and ran with it. So it's really not really working with him. I just kind of taught him how, to get started on that machine. And that was like one of the first machines we all had coming up in the industry. I was like the thing. The SP 1200 kind of kicked it off for a lot of us. So it was more or less working with him and just showing him how to, get the basics done, get the samples in, how to split, take the samples to another level, and then he just took it and DJ Quik it. That's what he did.
And you also produced the 213 demo that secured Snoop Dogg his recording deal. How did you and Snoop Dogg get connected? And I have to ask, what was it like working with Snoop to the D-O-double-G?
Oh man, it was funny actually, because Snoop would ride up on a 10-speed, him and Nate and Warren, and they would be hanging out, drinking the 40, rolling through the hood, and they would come into the studio or in the back of VIP. It wasn't really a studio; it was just a back room. And be like, "Man, let me throw some verses. Let me spit some verses." I'm like, "Man, I'm working with radio," and the radio was my guy. I worked with radio. He also passed away, but I was working with radio nonstop. We were doing shows in LA, Hollywood, so he was my guy. And I knew Snoop could rap, but Snoop was in the element. He was in the streets. He was doing his thing. He would come in, he'd be a little drunk, a little high, and I was like, "Man, I really don't want to, deal with that." But that one time he came in and he started working with one of the tracks I was doing. I was like, this dude he's incredible. But I was still stuck working on video, and when I start working with someone, I kind of delegate my time and my effort to them, and that's how I did it. And did the demo, couple songs for Snoop on that demo. Warren got it to his brother, to Dre, and then the rest is history. So I was him and Daz out of the record store. Not really chase. I used to like to steal a cassette, and I would push him, chasing a little bike, and he was coming back and forth trying to get a cassette. So he was just the neighborhood guy. Snoop come walking up or riding up and be in the area, sitting out in the store talking, chopping it up, and every once in a while they come and spit some rhymes. They did that hook. Long Beach is a mother, but man, I was like, wow. It was incredible. But yeah, man, Snoop is to this day still a down to earth cat to me. A lot of people don't really, talk to him as much as I don't really talk to him that much either. But whenever I see him, it's 100% respect between the both of us.
And you know what? You're the one that actually gave Snoop Dogg his start, man, pretty much. And I have to say, thank you for your contribution to hip hop, man. Snoop Dogg is actually one of my top 3 favorite rappers, man. So you helped give birth to like a superstar, man.
I appreciate that, man, and I definitely, I just glad I was a part of something that that's still around. And he's just, I'm telling you, he's a humble guy. You have to really know him to know how he is, but he will give you the shirt off his back if he really knew you needed it. He's that kind of dude, man. But I was just honored to be a part of the whole situation when we were working. It's like, man, I didn't know it was going to go where it went. Had I known, I would have still been around, but that wasn't really my niche. My niche was just making music. I wasn't trying to be, in the gangster life and the gangster rap thing. That wasn't me. I wasn't that kind of guy. But Snoop and Nate and Warren and dealing with those guys, man, they were cool cats, man. They were Long Beach guys. They're part of the neighborhood. So yeah, just being a part of it was awesome for me.
Like, when you mentioned Snoop, man, I gotta say, I went to my first Snoop show about this past summer. And I'm telling you, this...
Oh, really?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, like, I was trying to go for years, but something came up, like, the car wouldn't start, or show got canceled, something like that. So this year I went to Blues Fest. It was a 50,000 plus people there at the summer festival. I actually stood there for 7 hours just to see Snoop Dogg front row. I got the front row, and I mean... The reason why I'm saying this is because Snoop Dogg puts on a show that you would never even imagine. It's everything you expected to be plus 20.
Absolutely. And that's his thing. He's going to give you his all on every show. It doesn't matter where it is. It could have been 50 people. He's going to give you what you came there to get. And just recently, the class of 89, I graduated in class of 84, but I was one of the DJs for the 89 class reunion. Snoop took the whole class from one venue to another and gave them a private concert with I think it was Dougie Fresh, Slick Rick, and Color Me Bad.
Ooh.
In a private room. It was incredible.
That, I gotta say, that is one hell of a high school reunion, I'll tell you that.
Man, no top that. We've already been trying to figure out how we can do it. We can't top that. And that's the kind of guy he is. He has a bus and vans take the whole party from Long Beach to LA to give them a free concert and just to show his appreciation because he wasn't able to make a couple of the other reunions. So, like I said, that's the kind of guy he is, man. That's him.
So I also read in the comments of one of your posts that you were planning a Long Beach DJ/rapper reunion for this year. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, what I wanted to do is just kind of bring together the guys that started back in the day. Some of the guys, the mix masters from K-Day, Joe Cooley, M-Walk, Tony G, Julio G, Kit Kat, just a bunch of guys, Battle Cat, all those guys that were in the LA area. There was a bunch of us in the Long Beach area. There was DJ Keith Clark, the DJ Shiny Bag. Man, and I can't even think of all the other guys. Man, there was maybe 15 or 20 guys in the Long Beach area that were just as good or doing the same thing, but we were all kind of connected when it came to K-Day, and we were all cool with each other. So my thing is, I just want to bring it back to make sure people understand that we were doing this thing too. Some people, I stopped doing, man, probably about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, if not more, and I just started back on the DJ scene maybe about 2 years ago, and it's still just as good, if not as fun as it was back then. It's a little easier. There's not a lot of record crates and all that, but the reason I want to put it together and have like a reunion is just so we can connect and stay connected as a crew, as a team, and not even as a team, as a crew. I'm sorry, as young people or younger guys or older guys that can show the younger guys how to stay together and help each other out. If like one of the guys that I just met, he needed stuff, like the guy that helped out thing, and I did an album for Tyler T back in the day, and he was like, "Man, you want to start DJing again?" He gave me a NS7 set, and that's how I started back DJing. He gave it to me. And the same thing with me. I had the extra set after he gave me that. I purchased another one, and I gave it to another guy that needed a set. So it's just that kind of thing. I like to be able to help and be around people that want to be around each other. So my thing is just to get everybody together, get positive going. And if, whenever somebody might need something, we can help them out. If he's not even that, might need a light bill paid or something, we can come together as a DJ Quik or crew and say, "Hey, man, I got 50 on, I got 20 on, I got 5. It'll get paid. We'll make sure that our guys or our people that are in our little area and have been around for a long time don't need anything, So it's just something like that. NFL players do it. They have little Quik, and they help each other out. NFL, NBA, it's just being something like almost like the Hall of Fame, being connected but not always connected. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Also, December of 2017, and this is what I was really excited to talk to you about. It's about VIP Records. As everybody knows, VIP Records is such a landmark in Long Beach. My opinion, I'm out in Canada, but I still feel that VIP Records is one of the most famous record stores in the entire world. But you had a hearing with your city council to designate the sign of VIP Records as an historic landmark. Can you tell us a bit more about that, and what was the outcome of that?
It actually went really well. There's the sign is not where it was. They took it down and it's in storage. And what they're trying to do is find a location. That's the part that's kind of up in the air. They haven't found a location for it, but it went well. City council all voted to make it a historical landmark. It's just now finding a location to put it. And with Kelvin Anderson, he wants to put make it like a museum. So he wants to have a record store / where the sign is, be a museum or a historical area where when people come in, they can see the beginning of where Snoop started and how it started, and have like a timeline of what went on in VIP back in the day. We want to rebuild the store back the way it used to look. We used to have a boat in the store where the DJs would come up and mix. King Tim, who was the guy that inspired me also to start mixing, which is Kelvin Anderson's brother, Tim Anderson, used to come up and DJ in this boat, and we were all just standing around the store watching him make tapes, make mixtapes for the customers. So it went really well. Everything is in motion. It's just slow motion.
And also, I saw that you were filming the VIP story documentary the same day as the hearing. Where can our listeners actually watch that documentary?
It's still being taped, actually. What we want to do is the whole thing we want to culminate it at the actual museum. So when we have everything and can have the museum thing up and running, or even having it being built, we can show that there will be VIP in the history, So that's the thing. It's still being filmed, and so many different things we want to show and give people. So it might be a 3-hour long documentary, or Netflix hopefully will make it a series if we get to them like that. So yeah, it's still in the works.
And before we move off the topic of VIP Records. I have to ask, were you there that day when Snoop Dogg performed "Who Am I, What's My Name" music video on the top of that building?
Yes, and it was crazy.
I have to ask.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little backstory on that and how it all happened? Because that's one of my favorite Snoop songs, so I know I have to ask about that.
Man, the thing is, we didn't know what they were going to do. We didn't know what the plan was until they got there. And once they got there and they said something about going on the roof, Kelvin was like, oh, okay. He didn't really know, but they went on the roof, and that's what made that sign so big. That's where it happened. So, and there were so many people outside and around the store, but not like, if he was to come and do it again today, that same song, there would probably be 5,000 or 10,000 people. There was maybe 200 or 300 people there because it was his first, go around. But it was crazy. It was bananas that he did more than that. He probably performed the song maybe 50 or 60 times, trying to get all the takes they needed. So, and he went around the neighborhood and shot other parts of it. But yeah, that's how it came about. It was just like okay, if you want to go on the roof, it is what it is.
That's pretty awesome, though. You know what I mean? But it's weird. In the video, it looked a lot more than like 300 people. It looked like thousands.
Yeah. It wasn't until maybe later in the evening, it was a lot of people. No more than 500. I know that for a fact.
People probably just driving by and being like, yo, that's Snoop Dogg on the roof. Like, let's go see what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how it was. And then people, back then we had two-way pagers, so we were paging people.
Hey, well, you know what? At least you guys got the word out, you know what I mean? And that video is one of the most iconic videos to date.
Oh, yeah.
I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What was business like for VIP, like, after, like, that video was filmed? Did, like, business actually increase?
It increased, but it also became a tourist attraction. So when people would come, they'd be like, okay, that's where he was, that's where I want to be. They were, not trying to get on the roof or anything like that, but they were trying to get pictures with them in front of that sign. And that's what made that sign so iconic, because that's where he was and that's where they wanted to be. So it just became a landmark, as in, somewhere for people to come take pictures.
So, I know I said one last question a few questions ago, but just before we get off this topic,
okay.
Do you think without that music video being filmed and Snoop Dogg being on the top, do you think it would still be considered a landmark today if that video didn't happen?
You know what? It's hard to say. It would have been just for our neighborhood, absolutely. But for a worldwide landmark, no. That video took that sign and our store to a whole nother level, because that made it go worldwide. Absolutely.
So, on July 12th, 2019, you did an event called White Party. Can you tell us a bit more about that event, and how did it come to be?
The White Party, was it the Chucky Miller event? I think it was.
Yes, it was.
It was just it was a comedy show, and when Chucky does anything, he does it with excellence. He does it with everybody in mind, but he wants to make sure it's the best that he can possibly do with what he has. And there were people outside the venue. It opened at 8. There were people out there at 6:30, ready to come in. And that came about just because he wanted to do something in Long Beach. He has a lot of different events in different areas, but he's still trying to find a spot in Long Beach where he can get people to come and party and have a good time, and get dressed up if they want to get dressed up, and just have a good time. So that was really a Chucky Miller thing. Chucky, puts on a lot of events, but that was all Chucky putting that one together.
That's crazy, though. People actually waiting that long outside to get.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. They were in the parking lot like a tailgate, like a football game. They were waiting.
Hey, well, you know what? He must put on one hell of a great party then.
He does. He does.
So, Slice, this question I normally ask a few people, but this one right here, there's a lot of inspiring DJs out there, and I have to ask you, what is some great advice you can give these up-and-coming DJs that want to be successful like you?
Man, I think that the most important thing is to be a people person. If you want to be a DJ, you have to be a people person. You have to be able to decipher what a crowd wants, what the people want, because it's not always what you want to hear or what you want to play, You have to play what they want. So it's basically, to me, it's the most important part is being a people person, being able to read the crowd, understand how the crowd is moving, and that's basically it, man. My thing is I like to dance, so I like to play things that people want to hear, that want to dance. And if people have requests, take those requests. Don't be like that cat. Oh, I don't do requests. You're here for the people, and be about the people. So that's my thing. Just making sure you connect with whoever you DJ with or whoever you DJ for. Make sure you're connecting with them. So my thing is be a people person. That's the main thing.
And that's some great advice. I agree with that. You know what I mean? So I have to ask DJ Slice, what's next for you? Like, do you have any other up-and-coming projects? What's next on the agenda for you?
I just got back from actually being in Texas. I was in Texas for a few days. A friend of mine, James, who was a football player, graduated from Poly in '89, and he and his wife had an anniversary party, and they wanted me to come out. And they were like, "We'll fly you out and do everything like that." I'm like, "Man, I don't want to put my equipment on a plane." So Texas from my house is 1,500 miles. I got two of my buddies, James Brown, B-Tip, and Didnt County, and we jumped in a truck, loaded my equipment up, and we drove 22 and a half hours to get out there and do the party. And now, with that being said, that party is going to be an annual a friendship gathering, just to get us together, not just on occasions, but just at any time we can say, next month we're going to have a get-together, and we're going to move it to different areas. Like the next one I think we're going to do in Vegas. So it's just, things like that. I'm going to be a part of things like that. Chucky Miller has a few more things that we have in the fire. So my thing is community, making sure we bring things back to community in Long Beach, and things that get people from Long Beach out of Long Beach to see other areas. Like now, I'm considering moving to Texas because I had never been to Houston, Texas, but it's amazing out there. So that things like that. So that's where I'm at. I'm trying to just bring community, bring people together, have a good time, but also be able to see some things that you never seen before. So and party with people that you don't have to go to a funeral to see them and have that connection or reunion. I'm tired of that part. That's what we're all like. We want to be able to be at a party or be at a function where it's sad. We want to be somewhere where we decided to go and get dressed up and go and have a good time. So, just bringing people together. That's the main thing.
And man, you know what? That sounds like an actual really amazing plan. I do have to say, if you do plan on moving to Texas, I wish you and your family safe travels on that trip, man.
Oh man, I don't know. That 22 hours it was a monster, but we made it happen.
Just got to get one heck of a big U-Haul so you can get it all there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Slice, this is the time in the interview that I give the chance for the individual that comes on the show a chance to give shout-outs to whomever they want to give shout-outs to, and also their social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you if they're not already doing that.
Okay. Man, my social media handles are only Keith, DJ Slice Thompson on Facebook, and I'm DJ Slice on Instagram. I'm working on the YouTube thing and the Twitter stuff. I really don't, I'm old school. I don't know anything about all that, but those are the two main things that I'm on right now. And my shout outs are really just to God, because there's a lot of things that are going on in the world today, going on in our lives, where I wouldn't be able to sit here and do this interview. A couple friends of mine are sick, and a couple friends have just passed away, and then I have a good friend that's in the hospital right now, Derek Morgan, fighting cancer. So my thing is to pray for everybody, just to pray for everyone that you deal with or may not even seen in the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Just pray for them. Pray for everybody that you come in contact with. Speak to people. Keep love in your heart. That's the main thing. Love on everybody that loves on you. So when something goes bad or something goes wrong, you have that love cover you, because right now we don't know which way this world is going to go. So my main thing is I'm covered in the blood of Jesus. I got God in my heart. I can give love to everybody that I deal with and come in contact with, and that's it. That's where I want to be.
Hey, man, that's the best way to be. I do want to say my thoughts and prayers go out to your friend during this difficult time, man. I really do hope and
Yeah,
pray that he makes a full recovery and he gets back on his feet soon.
absolutely. Man, I want to shout you out too, man. I really appreciate what you're doing. Um, you're gonna go somewhere. Something's gonna happen, and they're gonna be calling you like, "Hey, man, we want to syndicate and put you out on TV. How about that? Let's work out a deal." So just keep working on it, man. I'm loving what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, and I'm praying for you also to be able to keep doing what you're doing. So you got my back, and if you need me again, just give me a call. You got my number.
I appreciate you, Slice. I really do. If you need anything as well, you got my number as well. I do want to say the reason why I do this show is because when I was younger, and I want to say this for all the listeners to hear, when I was younger, people's music like Snoop Dogg, the real hip-hop, not this new age rap, but we're not going to get into that, really did help me through a lot of difficult times. So I feel me doing this show, me giving back, me giving these legends that helped me through these hard times a voice, it makes me feel like I'm giving back to the people that helped me through my hard times. That's why I'm doing what I want. That's why I'm doing this show. I'm not doing it for money. I'm not doing it for clout. I'm doing it for love.
Cool, and that's what it's about. See that? And love is gonna make it go a long way. I'm telling you. Awesome.
Most definitely. Says I want to say one last time, man. Thank you so much for helping to give birth to one of the greatest rappers. Thank you so much for your contribution to hip hop, man. I wish you like a great 2020. And since we just got into 2020, Happy New Year as well to you and your entire family, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Same to you. And when I come to Canada, because I definitely want to come, I'm gonna look you up.
Hey, most definitely. You got my number. Just give me a ring.
Absolutely. Will do, Brandon. Thank you.
You're most certainly welcome, Slice. Have yourself a wonderful night.
All right, you too.